I wasn't good enough for my sister's wedding. She thought her wedding would be better without me. So I went on vacation, and the groom left her in front of everyone. You're not invited to the wedding. Please don't make this about you. That was the entire message. One bubble. 7 words. From my sister, Marissa. No explanation. No phone call. Just a gray text at 6:41 p.m. on a Tuesday night, right after I finished folding the napkins for her stupid rehearsal dinner table cards, which she had asked me to design. I read it once, twice, 3 times. Then I turned my phone over and stared at the ceiling like maybe, just maybe, if I gave it enough silence, the words would rearrange into something sane. They didn't. Before we go further, don't forget to like this story, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss what happens next. At first, I honestly thought it was a mistake. I texted back, "Wait, what?" No reply. An hour passed. Then another. Then, at 9:08 p.m., I got a follow-up. From my mom, Denise. "Hey honey, I know this might feel sudden, but Marissa and Ethan just want to keep things small and low stress. Please respect their wishes. You're still very loved. Very loved. Not included. Not wanted. Just loved, somewhere out in the ether. The kind of love that's convenient to say but never backed up with a chair at the table." I didn't sleep that night. Not out of anger. Out of shock. The kind of shock that settles in your ribs like you swallowed a stone. I kept asking myself, what did I do wrong? And every time I ran through the past year, all I could come up with was, I showed up. Every time. I was there when Ethan proposed. I took the video. I was the one who helped Marissa pick out her dress because Mom was too tired and Dad didn't care. I designed the save the dates. Paid the deposit on the photo booth she just had to have. I offered to help fly Aunt May in from Colorado. But suddenly, I was too much. By Wednesday morning, it was trending in the family group chat. Tyler, our cousin, sent a cautious text. "Hey, you okay? Just saw the guest list." That's how I found out that everyone else, even my second cousin's weird boyfriend, had been invited. Everyone but me. Claire, our grandmother, sent a blurry selfie from a dress boutique with the caption, "Shopping with the girls today. Wish you were here." I wanted to reply to you, but I didn't. Because the truth was starting to set in, they didn't forget me. They removed me. I sat at my kitchen table for hours. Not crying. Not screaming. Just numb. I kept replaying all the moments I'd bailed Marissa out over the years. The time I drove 3 hours in the middle of the night when she crashed her car and didn't want to tell Mom. The time I gave her rent money, twice, because her job was being weird with direct deposit. The time I sat next to her on the bathroom floor when her fiancé had left her on red for 3 days during a fight, and most recently, the way I took her side when she said Mom was being a diva about wedding colors, and no, not even a seat in the back row. That night, I made a decision. Not out of spite, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. I opened my laptop and typed, "Beachfront villas in April." Novira Bay popped up, a fictional paradise I'd only ever admired from travel blogs. I didn't price check. I didn't ask for time off. I just booked it. 10 days. All-inclusive. Private bungalow. No +1 needed. The confirmation email arrived in minutes. Subject line, "Your escape is booked." I smiled, because that's exactly what it was. By Friday, word had spread. Marissa hadn't told anyone I was uninvited. She just hoped I wouldn't come. But when Denise tried calling me again, I sent it to voicemail. Then texted, "No worries. I'll be out of town anyway." She replied, "We're still family, Logan. This doesn't have to be dramatic." Dramatic? I laughed. Like quietly removing your brother from your wedding and letting him find out via text is calm. I went silent after that. Didn't reply to the cousins. Didn't pick up when Marissa finally called, probably because people started asking questions. I didn't tell anyone about the trip. Not yet. But I did start packing. Sunscreen. Books. Noise-canceling headphones. A brand new linen shirt I bought just for the trip. One that said, "I'm not bitter. I'm free." As I zipped the suitcase shut that Sunday night, I stared at my phone one last time. Still no apology. No explanation. Just the same people pretending nothing happened, hoping I'd play the quiet, reliable brother who gets over it. But I wasn't playing that role anymore. Not this time. Marissa could set the house on fire and Mom would hand her the lighter. I forgot to call once, and I got a lecture about emotional distance. You'd think this all started with the wedding, that this was a one-time moment where my sister just slipped. But if I'm being honest, that text wasn't the betrayal. It was just the confirmation. When we were kids, I was the easy one. That's what Mom, Denise, used to say. Logan's just chill. You could leave him with a coloring book and he's good all day. I didn't need much, which is exactly why they never gave me much. Meanwhile, Marissa? She was a firework factory with a match in her teeth, always in some kind of drama. Tears 1 minute, tantrums the next. Lost shoes, broken phones, meltdowns over birthday themes and hair appointments. But she was also the star. When she danced, the whole family watched. When she got dumped, everyone gathered to hate the ex. When she didn't get into her first choice college, Denise blamed the guidance counselor, the admissions process, and the weather. She didn't fail. The world failed her. I started fading out around 15. Not because I wanted to. Because I figured out early, the less I asked for, the easier life got. No one yelled at me. No one blamed me. No one noticed when I was gone. And weirdly, that became addictive. Because while Marissa got the spotlight, she also got the pressure. I gotta be the ghost. Until the ghost got useful. It started small. Mom asked if I could help Marissa with her resume, then her essay, then her rent deposit, then her gas card, then her resume again because she never used the first one. One day, I looked at my budget and realized I'd been transferring her between $50 and $300 a month for the better part of 5 years. Always just until she gets this job. Or just until the next paycheck clears. I wasn't even mad. At least not yet. I thought, this is what brothers do, right? Then came Ethan. Tall, polished, seemed sweet, in the kind of way that makes you think he's memorized how to be likable. I was happy for her, at first. He showed up to dinners, bought her flowers, said all the right things. Then, slowly, things got performative. Couples Instagram, over-the-top vacation proposals, weekly countdowns to the big day. But behind closed doors, Marissa was venting to me. He doesn't listen. He makes decisions without me. Sometimes I feel like I'm more in love with the idea of us. I listened. Every time. Even when I didn't want to. Even when I was dealing with my own breakup and working overtime and barely sleeping. Because that's what I was trained to do. One night, just a month before the wedding text, I picked her up from a cafe after a huge blowout with Ethan. She was crying, mascara on her shirt, voice cracking. We sat in my car for 2 hours while she unloaded every little insecurity, every red flag she swore she could ignore. At one point, she said, "You're the only one I can really count on." I remember gripping the steering wheel, thinking, then why do I feel invisible? Denise called the next day and asked if I could chip in more for the reception photographer. Because Marissa's dress budget ran over. I said yes, like I always did. So when that text came, the one that erased me from the wedding, it wasn't a betrayal of a day. It was a betrayal of a lifetime. It was proof that I was never family. I was support staff. After I booked the Elvira Bay trip, I started looking back. Through old photos, old texts, old group messages. I found a birthday thread from last year. Everyone wishing Marissa love, tagging her in photos, uploading baby pics. My birthday? One text from Denise. Hope it's a good one. Love you. Marissa didn't even reply to my thank you. I remembered when I graduated from college. No one flew in. No party. Just a card in the mail and a dinner I paid for. Marissa's graduation? Full weekend event. Brunch, banners, class of the Queen cake. I remembered the time I got passed over for a promotion and cried in my apartment. No one called. But when Marissa's dog got sick, the entire family coordinated a GoFundMe. It's not that I'm bitter. I'm just done pretending I wasn't watching. Because I saw it all. And I kept showing up anyway. But now? Now I was 3 days from boarding a plane. From white sand. From cocktails with tiny umbrellas. From quiet. Not just from them. From the voice in my head that used to say, maybe next time they'll choose you. While she walked down the aisle, I walked across the beach. She wore white. I wore SPF 50 and a grin. I landed in Elvira Bay on a Thursday afternoon. The sky looked like a postcard. The kind of blue that feels fake if you've lived in the Midwest your whole life. The air smelled like salt and lime. The airport played steel drum covers of 2000s pop songs. And for the first time in years, no one needed anything from me. No, hey, can you swing by real quick? No Venmo requests. No crying phone calls. No expectations. Just sand, sunlight, and my suitcase. I checked into the villa, peeled off my hoodie, and opened the patio doors to the sound of waves hitting the shore like a heartbeat. The silence was loud. Not awkward loud. Not guilt loud. It was the sound of freedom. Back home, the wedding was 2 days away. Back home, Marissa was probably having her nails done, sipping a mimosa, playing the perfect bride while pretending I didn't exist. I didn't post anything right away. I didn't need to. I was too busy being still. That night, I ordered room service, seafood curry, mango juice, and a warm pineapple cake, and sat on the balcony watching the ocean fold itself over and over again. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. And again. Curious, I finally flipped it over. 3 missed calls from Tyler, my cousin. A message from Natalie, my aunt's daughter. You're missing chaos. Marissa's crying, and Mom's losing it. I stared at the screen. Then typed, I'm not missing anything. Send. By morning, the group texts were a wildfire. Apparently, Ethan's brother made a snide comment at the rehearsal dinner. Marissa had a meltdown. Denise was trying to keep the energy positive, while also asking why the playlist hadn't been finalized. Tyler, bless him, sent me this gem. You seriously dodged a bullet. This whole thing feels cursed. I replied with a photo. Me, feet in the sand, coconut drink in hand. Caption, correct. By Saturday, it hit the fan. The ceremony was supposed to be at 5 p.m. By 3, I was sitting under a thatched umbrella, reading a paperback I hadn't touched in months, when I saw the first real headline in the group chat. He left. Followed by, Ethan walked out. Like left. I blinked. Paused. Then scrolled. Denise had called a dozen times. Tyler said she looked ghost white. Aunt May was crying. Marissa was apparently in full collapse mode, sobbing in the bridal suite, yelling that someone needs to call Logan. I almost choked on my pineapple water. Call me? The brother she uninvited? The one she told not to make this about him? The one who helped fund her DJ, her dress, her flower arrangements, her ring resize? Now I was the missing puzzle piece? That's the thing about being invisible. They only notice you when you're gone. I didn't answer. Instead, I went for a walk. Up the coast. Into a small tidal area. Watched a kid try to catch a crab while his mom filmed with a smile. There was something oddly healing about it. Watching strangers just exist, without obligation, without performance. And while Marissa sat crying in a wedding dress she probably no longer wanted, I was wading into the ocean up to my knees. No tie. No tux. No guilt. That night, I finally posted to social media. Not to rub anything in. Just to mark the moment. Photo. Me, sunset behind me, barefoot in the surf. Caption. Sometimes the best RSVP is no reply at all. Within an hour, I had DMs from half the family. Natalie. OMG, you knew. Tyler. Bro, I've never been so jealous of a vacation in my life. Even Claire, our grandma, commented, maybe missing the wedding was a blessing in disguise. Denise texted me too. Twice. First, call me. Then, I don't know what's happening. But your sister needs you. I read it under a poolside umbrella. Sipped a strawberry mocktail. Then turned off my phone. Because for the first time in my life, I needed me more. Funny how they never noticed I was gone. Until everything fell apart without me. The thing no one tells you about silence is that it echoes. Especially when you're the one who used to fill it. I woke up the morning after the wedding that wasn't to 36 unread messages. No joke. 36. And not just the group chat. Personal ones. Cousins. Aunts. Even a few people I hadn't heard from since high school who apparently caught wind of the wedding collapse via Instagram stories and decided now was the time to reconnect. I scrolled through slowly, propped up on hotel pillows with the ocean humming outside. First message was from Denise. It's bad. Can you please call me? Then, Marissa is devastated. Then, we don't know what to say to people. Oh, I had a few ideas, but none of them would have helped her save face. Then there was Marissa. She hadn't texted me directly in over 2 weeks, not since that "you're not invited" bomb. But now? Logan. I don't know what happened. He just walked out. I wish you were there. I'm so sorry. That one stuck. Not because I believed it, but because it was the first time she'd said anything that sounded remotely real. Still, too little, too late. There was something deeply ironic about reading apology texts while watching two parrots fight over a pineapple wedge on the beach. Like life was mocking how unserious their chaos felt from 2,000 miles away. I didn't respond. Not out of pettiness. Out of peace. I wasn't angry anymore. I was detached. Like someone finally cut the cord that had kept me tethered to a sinking ship. Later that day, Tyler FaceTimed me. Normally, I'd ignore a FaceTime on vacation. But Tyler had always been cool. The only family member who seemed to actually get it. So I answered. His face appeared, back in Crescent Hill, framed by chaos. I just needed to see if this is real, he said, glancing around like he was hiding in a bathroom. He flipped the camera and whispered, Mom's still crying. Aunt May's drinking white wine from the bottle. Marissa's locked in the guest room, and your mom is pretending everything's fine while stuffing deviled eggs into Tupperware like she's loading for battle. I laughed, actually laughed. You good? He asked. I turned the camera, showed him the ocean. Never better. He gave a slow nod. You're a legend. That afternoon, I went snorkeling. Saw fish with colors I didn't know existed. Floated in silence under the surface, eyes wide, heart steady. And in that moment, with nothing but salt and breath and sun on my back, I realized something. I didn't miss them. I missed the idea of them. The version I'd built in my head. The version where they saw me, valued me, invited me because they wanted me, not because they needed something. But the real them? They only noticed I was gone when they needed help cleaning up. When I got back to the villa, I found another message from Denise. This time, a voicemail. I played it on speaker while unpacking my beach bag. Hey, sweetheart. I know you're upset. I know we made mistakes. But family is family, and we need to move forward. This isn't who you are. You're not the kind of person who holds a grudge. Pause. I raised you better than this. There it was. The line. The guilt grenade tossed into every apology attempt. I raised you better. No accountability. No admission that they caused this. Just a subtle jab, you're the bad guy now. I deleted the voicemail without flinching. Because here's the truth. I'm not holding a grudge. I'm holding a boundary. By dinner, I posted one more photo. A table set for one. Seafood grilled over open flame. A single candle. The waves in the background. Caption. Sometimes you don't need to be missed. You just need to not be needed anymore. It got over 200 likes in 2 hours. DMs poured in. Old friends. Work people. Even one of Marissa's bridesmaids who wrote, You dodged a train wreck. Also, this vacation looks like therapy. Later that night, Marissa sent her final text of the day. You didn't deserve that. Any of it. I was wrong. I hope someday we can talk. I stared at it for a long time, then turned off my phone. Because the old me would have responded at 3 a.m. Would have driven to her apartment with ice cream and a playlist. Would have told her it's okay when it wasn't. But the new me? The one barefoot on a balcony with the sound of the ocean in his ears? He just let it go. They built a house of glass and threw stones. I just stepped back and let it collapse. By Monday morning, it wasn't just private messages anymore. It was leaks, screenshots, TikToks, photos that never should have made it out of that wedding venue. Someone had uploaded a blurry video of Ethan walking out, literally walking down the church aisle alone, tux jacket in hand, past guests whispering behind their hands. The caption? When the groom says no thanks before she even walks down the aisle. It had over 70,000 views by lunch. Another post surfaced of Marissa, makeup smeared, dress slightly torn, yelling at someone off camera in what looked like the reception hall. You told me he was fine. That one? That one hit 100K by the next morning. A new level of secondhand embarrassment. And guess who started getting tagged in the comments? Me. Not because I was there, but because I wasn't. Because half the extended family now knew I'd been uninvited and had skipped town to a literal tropical paradise while the wedding fell apart. Tyler texted me, Bro, it's a bloodbath. People are turning on each other. Aunt May said Marissa was always a little high maintenance, and now Denise won't speak to her. George tried to blame Ethan's family, but then Ethan's brother sent a massive email to everyone with screenshots of text from Marissa calling Ethan spineless. The photographer canceled the gallery drop. Denise is telling people it was a mutual decision to split. No one's buying it. Meanwhile, me? I was on a boat, touring a coral reef, holding a GoPro, petting a stingray named Jasper. I wasn't being petty. I was being present, something I hadn't felt in years. That night, I opened my inbox to a message from Claire, our grandmother. Subject line, sometimes distance gives clarity. I expected a guilt trip, but she surprised me. Logan, I don't know what's happened behind the curtain, but I want you to know I see you now. I see how quiet you've had to be. I see what's been asked of you. I don't blame you for stepping away. I'm sorry it took this long to understand. If you ever want a soft place to land, my door is open. No expectations. I stared at it for a long time, then cried. Because that was the only apology I didn't expect, and the only one that felt real. The rest of the family? Not so much. Denise was now on a damage control tour. She posted an Instagram photo of a bouquet with the caption, "Healing. Family first. Love wins." The comments were brutal. Natalie texted me. She's doing the full PR spin, trying to erase that you were left out at all. Some people are asking if you and Marissa had a fight. She's telling everyone it was your choice not to come. I laughed out loud, not even mad, because of course she was rewriting the narrative. That's what happens when people like Denise feel their control slipping. They change the story. I posted one more photo that night. Just me. No caption. Just a smile and the ocean behind me. The comments said it all. Man, your piece is loud. Petition to cancel more family events like this. Who needs a wedding when you've got self-respect? Marissa didn't message me again. Not directly. But she did post one of those vague, black text on white background Instagram stories. Sometimes the people you think will stand by you are the first to disappear. I watched it, felt nothing, because I didn't disappear. She erased me. And now? She was realizing that absence has a weight, and mine was finally being felt. The next day, I sat on the edge of a cliffside overlook, watching the sun melt into the sea. My phone buzzed one more time. It was from Ethan. "Hey, I know we didn't really know each other, but you were right to skip that wedding. Just wanted to say that. Simple, direct, honest." I stared at that message for a long moment, then put my phone on airplane mode. Not because I was escaping, but because I didn't need to be part of the explosion. I'd already evacuated. They'll pretend it never happened. But I won't forget the silence that followed when they thought I had no value. The trip ended the way all good things do. Not with a bang, with a breath. One last sunrise over the water. One last walk along the shore. One last coconut pastry from the little cafe I found on the third day, the one where the woman behind the counter started calling me beach brother because I never wore shoes. It was the first vacation I'd taken in years that actually felt like one. Because no one was depending on me. No one needed me to show up and fix anything. I didn't feel invisible, or necessary, or strategic. I just was. And it turns out, I'm a pretty decent version of myself when I'm not quietly being crushed by obligation. The morning I flew home, I had 14 unread messages. 3 from Denise, 2 from Marissa, the rest from people who'd either found religion in the middle of the family drama, or wanted to make sure I wasn't holding on to bitterness. You know, classic, "we don't want you to be mad anymore because it's awkward for us" energy. I scrolled through most of it at the gate. Denise's longest one included lines like, "We all need to come back together. You're still her brother. Let's have a fresh start. We can all do better." But the one that stuck out? "Marissa has been through a lot. Maybe now she understands how much you mattered. Not, we're sorry. Not, we were wrong. Just, maybe now that everything crashed, you're useful again." I didn't reply. When I got home, I found a letter in my mailbox. An actual letter. Folded. Handwritten. From Marissa. Inside, 2 pages. The first page? I thought I was protecting myself by making the guest list smaller. But what I really did was push away the one person who never left me when things got hard. "You didn't deserve that. I see that now. I didn't back then. I don't know how to fix this. I just hope you know I regret it." The second page? Empty. Except for one sentence, dead center. You were the only person I felt safe falling apart in front of. And I believe she meant that. I do. But belief doesn't equal repair. And regret doesn't equal change. I folded the letter and tucked it into a drawer. Not to save it. Not to reread it. Just to remind myself later, if I ever started doubting this boundary, that I wasn't crazy, that it did happen, that I was erased, and that her crisis didn't earn her a shortcut back into my peace. The family moved on. Of course they did. People like Denise are pros at pretending. A month later, she was posting Easter brunch photos with captions like, "Family is where love begins." Marissa went back to curated selfies and yoga class stories. No more sad updates. No more crying filters. Just a new quote every week about resilience, healing, or choosing your circle. They patched it up. Not honestly, but enough to quiet the questions. Enough to move forward without acknowledging the hole they made when they kicked me out. But I didn't patch it up. I moved. Not just emotionally. I physically moved. New apartment. New neighborhood. Smaller place, just mine. No shared plans. No spare keys. No family-fueled obligations. I bought a coffee table I loved and a set of mugs no one else could claim. I hung a framed photo from Navira Bay above the couch. A reminder that I didn't walk away to be alone. I walked away to return to myself. I saw Tyler a few weeks later. We met for a beer, and he just grinned across the table. "You know you broke the whole system, right?" I raised a brow. He leaned in. "You were the one holding it all together. And when you stopped, they didn't know what to do with their own mess." I nodded. "I know." Then he asked, "You going back for Thanksgiving?" I shook my head. Not out of spite. Out of peace. Because I don't need a full table to feel full. Marissa still hasn't called. Denise still sends the occasional passive-aggressive prayer hands emoji or "hope you're well" text. But I don't flinch anymore. I don't wait. I don't check their pages like I used to, searching for signs that they notice my absence. Because I filled that space with something better. Silence that heals instead of hides. Boundaries that protect instead of punish. Joy that doesn't require permission. So no, I won't patch it up. They might. They probably already have. But I'm not interested in taping over holes with new lies. Let them stitch their version together. Let them heal in public. I'll keep my peace private. And permanent. Logan didn't burn the bridge. He just stopped holding it up alone. The apology came too late, the regret too convenient, and peace, once found, didn't need their permission to stay. If this story touched you, share it with someone who remembers those days too.